Good few days of practice. Again, having a little bit of a longer break between Tuesday to Sunday was a good thing, coming off that Temple where we had that week, kind of that bye weekend before we got into the game the other night versus Tulsa. So that's a good thing. We've had a chance to get some good practice time and have a really well-playing, very good Wichita State team coming in here on Sunday, a team that has won 3 of their last 5 games and was in this absolute battle the other night in terms of overtime versus Tulane. So a team that's playing their best basketball of the season come Sunday.
How much different are they with Craig Porter healthy? Obviously he was kind of hobbled the first time y'all met.
Yeah, he's one of the best guards in this league, period. What he does, we were just looking at it. He's leading the league in block shots too, averaging 1.9 blocks per game. That's just incredible, So what he does for them on offense and defense, creating, playing off the bounce, he's just got such great pace and poise about himself. Obviously, they're just, he's a dynamic player. They're a really good team, and he wasn't fully healthy the first time we played. And we've seen what he's been doing since then, and we know that's just a great challenge for us.
After having pretty much a 5-week stretch of playing pretty awesome, how have you maybe challenged Ezra to get back to there? What have you worked with him to kind of get back to where he was?
Yeah, good point. I think actually talk with him and talk with even his family, just saying, hey, sometimes freshmen this time of year hit a little bit of a wall, or they have a little bit of a dip because now we're getting into, most guys, freshmen, they're getting ready. They maybe have a few high school games left and their season's getting ready to end. Ezra's now, we're not even halfway through conference play yet. So we've talked about that with Ezra. And then also when you look at scouting, what teams are going to do defensively. These are some of the best defensive teams in the country, including who we're getting ready to play on Sunday. And they're not going to make it easy on Ezra. They're going to go at his strengths and try and take those away, and then they're going to try and expose his weaknesses. So it's just continuing every day to understand the maturity piece, the work ethic piece, how you have to continue to work every day so that you can still be successful. And there's no reason he can't get back to it. He's just had a few games here where obviously he hasn't been as productive as he was before.
We kind of talked about it earlier, but has he been working on kind of his mid-range game at all to maybe add that and add a different element to it?
Yeah, he has. He works daily on it, just like he works on his free throw shooting all the time, and he does. And it just obviously anytime you're mid-season trying to pick up a skill that you say, hey, it's going to be relevant in the game is difficult. But he works every single day, as all our guys do, on trying to get their weaknesses stronger, and then the things that he does well, trying to enhance those. Because if you just think, hey, if I'm solid in this area and you stop working on it, that will quickly become a weakness. And then if you don't work on your weaknesses, as much as you try and not expose those and you want to hide your weaknesses as a player, you have to work on them if you want to grow, and he does that.
Noticed lately Jackson Ellsworth's been getting some minutes here and there. What has he done in practice to deserve those?
He's been doing it all year long in terms of his effort and what he's done. And I think I've said it in some of these before that he's actually had moments where he scored the ball really well in practice. We needed him early in the season. We really looked at Jackson and were ready to, maybe the similar type of opportunity he has now. We were ready early in the year to see if he was ready for that. And it was a physicality thing. It just was the ability to play physical every possession, and maybe he wasn't ready for that at that point, but he has grown to doing that now consistently. And again, he just brings great effort. He knows the scouting report because he works on the scout team most of the time. And then also now that he's playing with, you would say the first or second group, he's scoring the ball like he had been doing pretty much consistently throughout the season. So he's earned it, and he's absolutely earned it.
You mentioned kind of the extra time off between games and you guys back-to-back home games. Do you feel like y'all are getting into a good stretch of real practice where you can really grow, a young team that
That's
needs
a great point. Yeah, awesome point. Yeah, we do. It was very hard. We had a stretch where we had 3 out of 4 games on the road at very difficult travel, difficult opponents, and then the game in between at home was UCF at home on a short. So you don't sometimes get a chance to focus on yourself as much as you're just trying to continue to focus on the next opponent with scouting. Now, even with that, you still work daily, but you very rarely get 2 on-court days back-to-back on the court where you can focus on yourself. And we were able to do that the last couple days, and obviously we spent a lot of time on Wichita State today, and we'll do so tomorrow also. But anytime you get 3 days in between games, or in the other scenario when we left Philadelphia and we had that weekend off, that was huge for us. And a lot of teams had already had that bye week going, prior. We just went through our almost first half of conference play and hadn't gotten it yet. So, hopefully that's a positive.
Watching Jaden Walker, there are times he makes a really good move, gets into the paint, and for whatever reason unable to finish. Is that kind of maybe the next step for him offensively?
Yeah, I think so. And the funny thing is, he's probably one of our most athletic guards finishing. And you remember early in the season, he had a dynamic finish above the rim on a left drive on the baseline. And so he can do it. It's just a matter of understanding. You got to continue to work on it. Like you said, right now his numbers are not great at the rim in terms of just efficiency and field goal percentage, shooting in the paint and at the rim. But it's something we continue to work on. But I don't think it is all that he doesn't have the ability to do it. I think it's something you got to focus on and continue to practice, and he's doing that.
We talked a lot about Javon, when we learned of his injury and just how guys are going to have to step up. But, aside from just filling that void of scoring and being that guy, how have you seen guys like Brandon Johnson and R.J. Felton just kind of understand, I'm going to have to be that guy for at least the next month or so?
Yeah, it's just everybody collectively stepping up. And whether it's Brandon and RJ, who have been at the forefront a lot of the time, even with Javon, it's them stepping up. And then you look at guys like Ben Biella, the way he stepped up last game, and that's huge. And Caleb had 8 points, 3 steals the other night. Those were huge for us. The start he got us off to, and in the second half, even offensively, he made a huge play. And the only reason he didn't play quite as much down the stretch was because defensively, we needed a little bit of a bigger team out there rebounding and defense-wise. But the best thing about Caleb, during the game we talked, Caleb knew, and he said it, no, we're in a good rhythm out there right now. He knew Jaden was in a good rhythm. Then you look at Jaden Walker, who hadn't had great success to this point playing the point guard spot, and he does it for a good 9-minute stretch late in the game. And those kind of things are so big to make up for someone like Javon being out. So it's the guys that were in those roles are right up there, kind of increasing theirs, but also guys that maybe didn't have as big a role, they step up because we got to do it by committee without Javon, obviously.